Most of you are probably watching this who are filmmakers, photographers. It is a bloody good bag. This Feel World XH2s combination. For me, this is just a sexy I think transparency is key. Whenever I work with any of my clients, I always try to communicate the power of transparency and being truthful to their audience. And it's something I want to achieve more in my YouTube videos, is transparency. Which is why in this video, I want to show you my filmmaking and photography kit bag that I take everywhere with me. And I want to show you what I use so it can be helpful. Then I think being as transparent and truthful as you can is the way forward. So without any further ado, this is my 2023 camera bag. So being as transparent as I can, this is my studio behind the scenes. As you can see, there's a little bit of a mess, but it serves the purpose for what I want it to do. I have my light source here and also a window, which I have put paper all around to diffuse it. I have my table, chair, camera gear on here, some backdrop paper, overhead stand to do the bag. Well, it's like I said, it's a bit of a mess, but it serves the purpose for this channel, and I'm so pleased that I can show you guys this setup. Anyway, back to the video. I want to show you my 2023 bag. This is set up for filmmaking and photography. So the first thing to tell you is the bag that I use. This is the Lowepro ProTactic BP 450 AW2. I mean, they comes up with all these words. I don't know half of what it means sometimes, but all I know is that it is a bloody good bag and has served me well for the last couple of years. It's my main bag for all my filmmaking and photography work, and it's just so good. It's pretty inconspicuous. It's got so many pockets. It's got so many openings. There's a quick opening at either side here. So if I've got a camera on one side or the other, I can gain access to that. I can also gain access at the top if I put my camera at the top as well. There are these side pockets here for keys. There's a place in the back that opens and you can put your laptop in. The straps here are very comfortable. They're pretty well padded. I mean, loads of people have reviewed and talked about this bag. It's definitely worth the money. I've used it in so many different scenarios. It's hard wearing, it's tough. It's not fully waterproof, but at the bottom there is a case, waterproof case that you can put around the bag if it's torrential rain. But with light rain, or if you're going from, you know, the car to somewhere else, then you'll be fine. Good little feature here is the handle underneath. So when you're flying and you put this in the top hand luggage, you can pull it out. Opens from the back and perfect. So yeah, a very standard and probably very popular bag. Definitely one I would advise, and I've used for a couple of years, and I can't see me changing this bag as my main camera bag for a long time. So let's dive into what's in here. I've got it all set up already, and I'm just going to talk you through everything that I've got in here. So before I start going in full deep into this camera bag, I want to encourage you to stay to the end, because I'm going to show you my Fujifilm XH2s rig. So this is everything I use for my filmmaking, and it's something that I really feel like I've got it just to my liking, and I'd like to share it. So stay with me to the end and I'll show you that. Anyway, let's dive in the bag and I'll show you what goes on here. So first off is my main camera. This is everything I do for my film work. The setup I have here is the XH2s, and on at the moment is the Sigma 18 to 35mm f1.8 with the Fringer EF FX Pro 2 adapter. I've already talked about this in a previous video, my top 3 lenses that you can watch here. This setup, or most of the time, I'm going to say 70% of the time, stays the same. I don't really change too much at the moment. This does all my work. The only downside, which I haven't spoken about this lens, is that it is not waterproof or water resistant. I am careful about when and where and the conditions I use this setup in. But otherwise, I don't shoot too often in rainy conditions. So this is my main setup for the moment. So this goes in this side. And like I said, for fast release, I have a zip here that I can open, and get that camera out when I need it. Now, my second setup is the Fujifilm X Pro 3, and the lens is the 35mm f2. One of my favorite setups. I have enjoyed this so much. I am in the process of making a video about this setup, about the X Pro 3. I've made a video on the 35mm, which you can watch here, but otherwise a fantastic setup. Love the rangefinder on this thing. For me, this is just a really stylish, lovely, wholesome, I want to say the word wholesome setup. I love having this around my neck. I love taking it out, and I can't wait to use this more and share more thoughts with you on my channel about this setup. So both of them go in there. They are my two bodies, the XH2s and the X Pro 3 with the two lenses I mentioned. Then we get into the other half, and this is kind of accessories. And this is things that possibly don't need to come, but some obviously do. Like, for example, batteries, spare batteries for the X Pro 3. This is a third-party set. They are called Home Suite. And everything I mention in this video is linked below if you're interested in purchasing this gear that I have in mind. Obviously, things like batteries go in here, but there are some other stuff that I will cover that, you know, is not always taken with me, but at the moment this is just, I'm showing you everything that can go in this bag and fit comfortably. So let's go over some of the basics that I usually bring with me every time. So one of the essentials that I take with me every time I go out is the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. This thing's great. I've used audio for this for many occasions, especially when I'm on the fly. This is particularly when it comes in handy the most. But for audio, the thing that I use the most, I would have to say, is the Sennheiser Bluetooth clip mics. These things, which I'm using right now, which isn't in the bag, but I've got here, transparency. These things I use for most of my talking head stuff for my channel, but if I'm interviewing someone or I'm doing any type of work where I need to have clear audio, this is the go-to for me. The Rode VideoMic Plus is great, don't get me wrong, but if I want particularly great, fantastic audio, it's got to be the Sennheisers. So that goes in and it fits in perfectly well. This is what I like about this bag, is that the dividers are so good and customizable. So you can fit in exactly what you want for the size of the accessory, lens, whatever you need. The next thing I always bring with me is my Olympus MJU2. Now, this isn't essential for client work, but it's essential for me. I always like to carry around a film camera with me. And this thing, as I've talked about in previous videos, and you can, again, I'll link you to a video here about it, is one of my favorite cameras. I love having it on me, and it can always add something to a video or a session or anything I'm working on. So it has to go in my bag, and I always just leave it in there. It's so inconspicuous, so light, it can just stay in there. So it's not a problem. I'm going to quickly just mention, I have a camera bag here. This keeps all my leads, everything that charges, everything. I'm not going to go through this. This is boring, but this is just stuff that you need. And you know, if you're a photographer or filmmaker watching this, you know that what goes in this bag is literally all your leads that connect everything and charge everything. So anyway, that goes in the top there for the moment. Also, my air blower, that usually goes into there. I don't know why it's out, but that goes in there too. So again, all things like that. The next thing I have on me is, and I don't take this every time because I don't use it as much as I say, but you just can't be sure, especially on some shoots or client work that I'm doing, is I bring the Fujifilm 50-140. Again, this thing is a beast. I go into more depth about it in this video here, which I talked about earlier, the top 3 lenses. And this thing for a telephoto zoom lens is exquisite. It does everything I need when I am at a distance. Like I said, I work in places where I need to be like a fly on the wall, and this allows that, so it stays in the bag just in case I do need to be a little bit out of the way and just grab what I need. So that fits in the middle of the bag because I know it's really protected there, and it's a nice sort of compartment, as you can see. The next thing I'd like to mention is my Free World monitor. like I said, everything's linked in the description. One gear that I would really say that has been beneficial for me is the FreeWorld monitor. I really used to struggle to see through the tiny monitor on the Fujifilm, Canon, Nikon screens. Whatever you're shooting on, I would struggle. I swear my eyesight is just getting really bad. So I looked into finding out how I could maximize the screen and give me a better sight of view. And this FreeWorld monitor has been perfect. Yeah, obviously it needs batteries to charge it, and it comes with, if you're shooting in harsh light, I haven't used this yet because I haven't needed to, but this comes with a shade so that you can put this around the monitor so that you can see. I haven't used it yet, like I said, but it just grips on here, it's just velcroed around. This thing has been amazing, and I will show you the setup of this at the end, so stick around for that. I've got a very interesting way of how I've set this up. So like I said, that comes with batteries, which are here. Again, I'll link this down below and you can find out. This stuff's very boring, but essential. You have to have it in your camera bag. Also, this is a HDMI in and out. And the beautiful thing about the XH2s, unlike the X-T4, which I'm shooting on now, is that you have an HDMI port, which is fantastic. So I can just go from one to the other and I'm sorted. So no fuss, no hassle. So like I said, great Velcro. That goes in my bag. I keep it in the little sheath it comes in. Stay with me at the end and I will show you the setup to my rig. The next thing I am going to show you is my wide angle lens. Again, I've talked about this loads and I'm gonna make more videos on this for sure, but this is the Viltrox 13mm 1.4. Absolutely stunning lens. At the moment, I've got the K&F ND filter on here, and it's a beautiful setup. It really has made life very easy when shooting, particularly interior or vlogging or anything like that shots, because you just need that little bit more width, and this lens is perfect for it. I can't, again, recommend any of this stuff highly. I've done my research, and believe you me, it has taken many hours, many days, but I feel like I'm getting somewhere. So this is why I'm sharing all of this information and hoping that some of it helps. Some of it you might really disagree with me on, but that's fine. I'm just hoping that I can help someone. So the next thing I take with me is the Fujifilm 18-55mm kit lens. I got this kit lens when I had the X-T3, and I traded in my X-T3 and kept this, and I knew I needed this, and the reason I needed this is because it fits perfectly on my Fuji X Pro 3. Because if I need to, like I said in a previous video, I keep saying this, but like I said, if I need to, because I've set this up, this is for photography, this is my go-to photography setup. But if I need a bit more zoom, or I need video capabilities, I can stick this on and get that optical in-body stabilization, because there's none on the X Pro 3. I can pair them together and can perfectly get something usable to edit when I'm back home. So this is a great pairing, and I always keep it with me just in case, you never know. So, and if I've got the room, I'm gonna bring it. It's a light enough lens, so I'm happy to keep the Fuji 18-55 on me. But that is everything in this middle section, apart from this one little, very important gizmo here, and I will come back to that at the end. I'm gonna show you my little setup, my little rig. So that's everything in the main section of my bag. I then shift over and talk about what's in the back here. Firstly, I'm gonna say sometimes I bring my laptop, sometimes I don't. Most of the time I don't need it, so why would I make my bag heavier? So for example, I'm going to California in March. I'm gonna be taking my laptop. That's when I'll bring it, and that's where it will fit in the back. And there's enough padding there for me to feel that I'm happy that it's secure and safe. That would fit just in the back there. But otherwise, for the moment, nothing in there. If I'm doing work in the UK, the surrounding areas, I'm not going to be bringing a laptop with me, so that doesn't need to be talked about really. Anyway, what we are going to talk about though is what is in these two little compartments here. Now the top one is basically what I have is business cards. So whenever you're out, you need to be able to show someone where you are, what you do, and how they can get hold of you. This is actually quite vital really, and the amount of times people have said, do you have a card on you? That would be great. I am thinking about getting one of those electronic business cards though. So if anyone knows any more about that, and has any recommendations where you tap it and finds you through those things, I'm quite interested. So let me know in the comments below if you know anything about that. I might try and do that. I have enough of them in there so they stay in. I have got some headphones just in case I need to see the level of where I'm at with the recording. This sometimes there's a bit of a lag sometimes with some of my microphones, so don't tend to rely on this too much, but it's just in case to see what I'm picking up to get a level reading. I probably should use something a little bit better than that, but for the moment that does the job. I've got a few different mounts for tripods, so I kind of keep them in there if I'm switching around. And so that's the top half, and in the bottom half here I have a backup XH2s battery. My SD cards, they sometimes fit, if I can find a space, they sometimes fit in the main part, but they can go in there. I also have an extension lead for audio if I need to run the Video Mic Pro Plus as an overhead, or just maybe to hold it handheld. So sometimes I have that. This is part of the rig, which we'll come back to at the end. I have my Sony audio, just in case this runs out of battery, or I haven't got the Sennheisers and they run out of battery, and this is just my third backup really. And I sometimes use this for weddings or anything else where I just need to get perfect audio. This thing's really good. I learned this from Eric Floberg, so I will link this again in the description, like everything else I've mentioned. I know I keep saying that, but it will be linked. And that's everything in the top half. Sometimes, again, batteries tend to go where they go. I don't really have a particular audio. This does change often, as again, most of you are probably watching this who are filmmakers, photographers, you know that this setup changes all the time. This is not definitive. This is just what's working for me right now, especially like the cameras, lenses. They are not gonna stay with me forever, but for the moment, for this year, it looks that way. Okay, so that is my camera setup for 2023. Thus far, but like I said, it is not definite. It may change, it may not, it may stay exactly the same. My 2024 camera bag might be the exact same as this. It probably won't, but here we go. So I hope you've enjoyed this part of the video. I really quickly want to show you my XH2s rig. I'm very interested to share this because this is something that I kind of had to play with myself, and this is the setup that I originally came from the GH5, because I used to have a Panasonic GH5, and then this, what I use, is been transferred to the XH2s, and it works superbly for me. And if it can help one person, I'd be really happy. So anyway, I'm gonna put my bag down beside me, and we are gonna talk about the camera rig that I use for filmmaking. Here I have my XH2s with the Sigma 18-35 with the Fringer EF FX Pro 2. We said that, we know that, that's what it is. Now the ergonomics on this XH2s, I think are fantastic. The grip on here is so comfortable. Feel like I could hold this for most of the day, and have done on some shoots already. They have gone superbly well. This is perfect from an ergonomic point of view. What's made this even better is that we have an HDMI port, which we don't have in the X-T4. So the gear that I'm going to be using to make this rig is the Field World monitor, this little mount here, this HDMI connection that I've sort of come up with myself, and some power. First thing we're going to do, we're going to put the mount on the hot shoe here. We're going to mount the monitor. We're going to place this lead into the HDMI in, like so. Open up the door to the HDMI port and then stick that in there. Wonderful. Now, we're going to take a battery, plonk that in there. Now that is a fantastic little setup. It's so light, it's so affordable. That is how I like to set up my XH2s. This Field World monitor gives me the vision and the point of view that I need to make the films that I need to make. It is a fantastic setup. The battery life on this thing is okay. You do have to make sure that you have got one charged after the other. Maybe I'd get around about 4, depending on the shoot. But if you need to be able to see, you know, if you're in focus, your field of view, shadow depth of field. This thing is perfect. It really has become a bit of a game changer. I hate that word game changer, but really has helped level up my filmmaking. And it also gives a very professional look to your setup. Now, there are loads of different commands on here that you can do and play with. I won't go through that, but I will be going more into depth with this little rig that I'm building at the moment for the XH2s. So stay tuned for that, because that will be something I think will help other filmmakers make better films with their XH2s, as it has mine. If you want to see more about this Feel World XH2s combination, let me know in the comments. That video will probably happen anyway, but if you'd like to see it, let me know. And if this camera bag 2023 setup has helped, please drop me a line in the comments. I'd love to know if you've got any questions or anything like that. Like and subscribe. I really appreciate everyone who has been in touch, and I'm really enjoying making videos for you and YouTube and the community that we're building here together. So let's make some waves. I will see you in the next one.